Sorry. Hey YouTube, it's Dylan here to do a review of the new DLC for Resident Evil Biohazard. Now, I was really excited for this DLC because I loved Resident Evil Biohazard. I thought it was not just a typical horror game. I think it had a good story, and I don't know, it had Easter eggs throughout the game, and I know. I think the game had a lot more layers than people were expecting, and I expected it. It had a real Resident Evil vibe to it, and I like a game like that that has a bit of substance. It's not just straightforward. It's got a few layers. It's got some Easter eggs. And if you want to find out the tone and the story, like the hidden story, there's hidden story things like if you got to go searching. Like in certain rooms, you have to find notes and that for like to find out certain characters' perspectives, like on things. Like in the DLC, you'll find notes and on things computer. Whose computer is it? Lucas. When you play the DLC Daughters, you can look into Lucas's computer, and you can find out a bit about the Baker family before they turned all evil and that. Like in the notes it says he was watching his sister Zoe, what was it, doing yoga, and he's like, oh, the old man slapped me because he thought I was a pervert and that. So you kind of find out like Jack Baker, even before he turned evil, he still was a bit violent. He would slap around his son and that, which a lot of parents are like that. My dad used to get the belt, if he got angry with me. Sorry, I'm about to have a drink. My throat's so dry today. This is Deep Spring Sparkling Natural Mineral Water. It's pretty alright. Sorry about the dark light, and I just finished the game now. I got this thing where I play like horror games at night, and I can't play like a horror game during the day, or it's just, it doesn't have that feel to it. Like I like playing in the dark with, it just adds to the experience. But I couldn't really tell because I was playing this in VR, and this is going to be a VR review. I played all of the campaign of Resident Evil Biohazard in VR, and I was like, yeah, I want to do the DLC the same. Because VR, it is more intense, but I love that, it's just a real immersive experience. It doesn't feel like you're just playing a game, like you're a part of it, and I like that about it. Playing it in PlayStation VR, you do have your lower resolution. The graphics does take a bit of a hit, but I don't know, it's not that bad, to be honest. So the graphics are still pretty fucking good, and it still feels so realistic. I'll trade just a little bit of graphics, like for immersion and being inside a game, But I'm telling you now, the graphics aren't that bad. It's still really good. Like the game's just really creepy looking. Like it's just so. Like I played it normal, and I played it in VR, and the VR version is more dark, and I actually like that because I just forgot what I was about to say. Because I don't know, it's more creepy. It's harder to see things. It just adds something to it. I really like the more dark visuals. And alright, let's talk, because it's gone for 4 minutes now. I haven't really talked about any of it. I've kind of gave you my thoughts like leading into the DLC and that. And I'm a Resident Evil fan, so I was kind of giving you my background before I do this review, so you know a bit about me. So there's 2 DLCs. You got the banned footage Volume 1, then you got the banned footage Volume 2. Both comes with 2 games, like 2 different stories. and then you also so you got four videotapes all up. You got four videotapes. Then you got two mini games that you can't play in VR. All the rest you can play in VR, but these two mini games you can't play in VR. That's not the videotapes. This is a whole separate thing. The mini games, I didn't. They're okay, but I didn't really like them. That's the reason I didn't. I got the DLC to play the videotapes. I didn't get it to play these mini games. Like one mini game is Jack's 55th birthday. You got to just find food to feed Jack. That sort of shit. It's not really. It's got nothing to do with the Resident Evil storyline. So it's like it doesn't need VR. Like and something like that. It's not really. It's not fun. You know, finding food to feed Jack. Like who came up with that fucking shit idea? Who's the fucking genius? Like, oh yeah, oh man, I just got this amazing idea. We're gonna make a mini game. You'd have to find food. Get this. Here's the big horror to it. To feed Jack. Fucking well done. Fucking well done, man. That's some next level shit right there. So let's get past this minigame bullshit. They failed with the minigames. Alright. So let's talk about the videotapes. The first one, Nightmare. That's from Volume 1. Well, you're like locked in that sort of like you're down in the basement. You know where you had to like if you played if you played the campaign right. You know how you have to fight Jack down in like that basement sort of place, and he's got like those big fucking, well they're like those clamps or cutters or some shit, and like you got the chainsaw and you're chainsawing him, like that boss fight. It's not the first one in the car garage, it's the one down in the basement. I think it's the basement where it's called, and you got to survive 5 hours down there, and you got the molded down there. You got this scraps you get from these machines, and you can put those scraps towards buying gun ammo and all that. So it kind of felt like a zombies, you know, Call of Duty zombies. It kind of felt like that, but in a Resident Evil sort of setting. Like you had to survive the 5 hours, and it kind of felt like 5 rounds sort of thing. You know, like. And you get more molded as the time goes on, and I think it's after you do 2 hours you have to fight Jack for the first time, and then after you've done like the 4 hours you got to fight Jack again, and then you've passed it. That was my least favourite out of all the videotapes because it was just really repetitive, you know. Like it's just really repetitive gameplay, and it doesn't really do anything for the story. That's why I got the DLC, was to find out more about the story, and that if it tells us a bit more about the campaign, and the other videotapes do, but not that one. So the next one is Bedroom, and I really love this one, and this was so good in VR as well. You like, and these, right? I'm going to tell you now. Nightmare, Bedroom, and 21's all with the same character, Clancy. So he must have got kidnapped by his family, and so he's got a segment with Jack, and he's got a segment with Marguerite. Then 21 is the one with the son Lucas. So you know, and then Daughters is the prequel to everything else. So you're playing as Zoe in that. So I'll talk about that one last. So in Bedroom, you're in this room, and you got Marguerite Baker. She's locked you up, and she's wanting you to eat her food and that. But you're trying to get out of this bedroom. So when she leaves, you're trying to find your way out, and that, and because it's like, kind of like a puzzle, right? So you have, you know, we all know Resident Evil's got like its puzzle sort of gameplay. So you have to find all these things so you can like get out. And it's really like smart gameplay. Like it wasn't easy, guys. Like you have to really think, and you have to search everything just to, you know. And you're thinking, you pick up something, you're like, oh, what can I use this for? And you don't really know at first. And like, like you wouldn't think about a fork actually helps you with a puzzle in that level. I didn't even think of that, guys. Like it took me ages to think, what the fuck is this fork for? Like, what do I have to do with this fucking fork? I didn't even know. It's like really, it's their puzzles are really good with Resident Evil, like really good. So, and when you do certain things, like if you find something or something, like um, it you might make a noise, and then Marguerite Baker comes back, and you've got the clock ticking down from 1 minute, so you've got 1 minute to put things back to where they were, because if you don't, Margaret Baker will notice and she will start like spitting bugs out your face. And in VR, man, that's fuck. She starts vomiting, and all these bugs start flying at you. So, oh man, it's crazy. I'm just like, oh, get this fucking shit out of my face. I look like a fucking psycho playing VR. So, um, so that was really cool, like really cool gameplay, and like Margaret Baker's just so creepy. Like in VR, she's right in my face, and she's telling me to eat this food and that, and I look down at the bowl and it's just all disgusting. It looks like a mouldy sort of soup, with bugs and shit. It's like crazy. But the ending to it, like when you escape, is kind of abrupt. Like I was like, whoa, like I was expecting something extra, like. But it's still really good though. The bedroom, I really love that one. Then you got 21, and this is like the Saw sort of gameplay of the DLC. Lucas, he had some moments with him in the campaign, but this is Lucas at his best. If you think Lucas was good in the campaign, he was alright in the campaign. I thought who stole the show in the campaign was more like Margaret Baker and Jack Baker. But Lucas, man, he's so great in this. You're doing like this card game 21, and it's like a Saw style. So like, if you lose, because you're locked up with this guy, right in front of you, and he's got like this bag over his head, and you can't see his face or anything. And you're in this Saw situation, like you're playing this card game 21, and only one of you can make it out alive. So whoever wins this will make it out alive, and you got like it's really really cool, guys. It's so awesome. You got so many so if you beat the guy the first time, like when you're playing 21, if you lose, you lose a finger, and if you lose all 5 of your fingers, you're gonna die. So if you beat the guy in front of you the first time, I don't know what his name is, so I'm just calling him the guy. You think you're gonna leave, but he's like, nah, I need to make it back to my family. Let me have another chance, and so he gets another chance. And then you got this another version where like when these guys have the rematch, there's this machine over your hand, and it's gonna electrocute you. And when the gauge gets all the way up, you die. And so you beat him the next time, he dies. Then now you think you're gonna leave, but you don't. Lucas starts using him as a puppet and talking like the dude who's dead. So he's like, oh, give me another chance or some shit. And he's like moving his body with these wires and shit. It's like really crazy. And like Lucas is doing the voice, like talking as him. It's funny as fuck, actually. Lucas is so fucking evil. And I heard like he wasn't under Evie's control. So he's like just mentally ill out of the Baker family. Like the other Baker family are good. They just like got taken over by Evie and that. But like Lucas, I think Lucas was under Evie's control, but then he became fine. Like, so he's like mentally ill, and he's like doing the voice of this dude when he's dead, and he's pretending to be his like body and that, and so the last bit you're actually versing Lucas, But he's pretending to be the guy, but he's dead. And he's doing his voice and that. It's fucking funny though. That shit was funny as fuck. Lucas has really dark humor, and that's what I like about him. He's got like this real charismatic personality, but it's really dark and evil. But I appreciate that because I'm a real big horror fan. So, you got that, which is cool. And when you beat Lucas, he's like, "Oh, I want to play more games with you and that." So there might be more DLC with you and Lucas and that. But the last bit of Lucas is hard because you get these things in the 21 game called trump cards, and he plays these trump cards, and he basically puts you in a situation where it's like a lose-lose. But if you save a certain trump card called Love Your Enemy, that can help in that last bit. Because I lost that last bit a couple times because I was like, what the fuck can I do in this situation? Like, he's played all these cards to make it his hand perfect, so he would have had a 21. So I was like stuck on that a bit. Then I was like, alright, I'm just going to save my trump cards to the end and see if they can help me out in any way, and they do. So that's good. Now I'm going to have another sip. Now, I'll say the best for last. So, those other videotapes, you're playing as Clancy, and that does nothing for the storyline of Resident Evil. And it doesn't really tell you much about Biohazard. All those other sorry, got a bit tongue twisted. Just getting a bit of saliva at the moment, guys. I'm trying to just review the best I can. So those other videotapes, all you know from it is really it's like this Baker family's abducted this guy named Clancy, and he's done all this shit to survive, and that's not really. It's more of a side story. It's got nothing really to do with the Resident Evil Biohazard campaign and the main storyline. But now let's talk about Daughters. So this is like the prequel. So you're playing as Zoe, and this is the night when the ship wrecks. And if you don't know what the shipwreck it happens in the main storyline where Mia, wife, what's his name? The main character, his wife was like protecting this girl named Evie, and she's got all these superpowers, and she creates the molded when she vomits up all this black mold and shit. So she created the molded, and if you play the main storyline, you find out the shipwrecks, and Evie and Mia rocks up at the Louisiana. Oh fuck, man, my tongue's getting twisted so bad right now. Louisiana. I think that's right. Louisiana swamp, and they get taken in by not the Jack Baker family, the Baker family. So that's where this whole story comes in. So the Baker family bring in Evie, and you're playing as Zoe, and this is where everything turns to shit. This is when you get to see the Baker family go from good to evil, and Lucas. That's what I was watching Lucas more in this game, this whole videotape, because I wanted to see if he was showing signs of being fucking a sicko, and I guess he is because he's perving on his sister playing yoga. So I guess he is. But when I was playing this, he wasn't really showing any signs of being fucking sick. But I guess he is because he's doing all this creepy fucking shit. So you take an Evie. But then she starts taking control of Jack Baker and Margaret Baker, so you get to see them go from good, happy family to fucking evil. And there's this really dark moment when Jack Baker stabs himself, and blood goes all over his face, and he's just talking so evil and dark. That's one thing what I like about these Resident Evil games. When you play it in VR, and you're inside this game and you've got your headphones in, like hearing Jack Baker behind you, chasing you, also talking all this like evil shit, man, it gives me goosebumps, man. Like it's really creepy. Um, so in the daughters thing, you're playing as Zoe, as you know. I keep on reminding you guys things you already know. I'm repeating myself. Sorry about that. Man, Jack Baker's probably my favourite. He's so fucking dark. The shit he talks is great. So you're playing as Zoe, right? And oh, dude, I keep on repeating myself. I'm so sorry, I am. So you got multiple endings, right? There's only one true ending, and the first time I played it, I didn't get the true ending because the game kind of leads you in a way that you think this is the true ending because the bit when you bump into Marguerite, she turns good and she gives you the car keys, so you think you got to go to the garage and get in the car and drive out of here. And I did that and I got to the ending, but that's not the true ending. It's like the subtitles pop up at the end and it's like, oh, you didn't lead Zoe on the right path or some shit. Because when you go to the car garage, when you get in the car, Jack Baker grabs you and Evie's there and Margaret's there and they just, you get caught and shit. So, you know. But the true ending is like, because if you go and read Lucas's computer, you will he'll say in it like, oh, Dad whacked me or whatever, and he took all my stuff and he put it in this crate on the balcony. Was it the balcony? Well, it's just this outside area. And you go to the box where he's put all your stuff in, and you'll find a dog head, and you have to use the dog head on that door to unlock the outside area. Then you go to the caravan, and you see Mia there. And if you before you talk to Mia, or you don't talk to Mia, you press X over her body to pick up that thing, that serum, the thing that used for the serum. You know how you have to get the B series arm and that, like in the main story mode, you got to get all these things to make the serum to put into Evie to stop all this shit from like going on. So before you do all that and you click on that thing, I don't know what it's called. You can read a letter from Mia, and she's saying, "Oh, I was escorting this thing." I can't remember word for word, but she was basically saying, if you see Evie, don't talk to her and that, like, don't try and not make her mad and all that sort of stuff. And she was saying sorry and all that in the letter. So she was just basically saying my job was to escort her, and shit hit the fan. And if you get infected, basically meaning you're going to turn into molded, you can't get cured at a hospital. But there is a serum, and then her writing goes all bad, and you can't really make out what she was saying. But once you click on the thing you have to get to make the serum, Evie shows up, and that's the end. But then there's this last cut scene where you're sitting at the table with Zoe, and you're there with the family, and the family's acting all good and happy, like. So Zoe starts saying, "Oh, I had this terrible nightmare last night," because the family's all acting good again. So she thinks it's just all a dream, and so they're all talking about, but they're talking about last night about the shipwreck and that. So all that shit did happen, and so that's when I start thinking like, so that shit did really happen, but now they're all good. So what's going on here? But then then the screen turns to black and white, and Evie shows up in the background. So it's like Evie's still there, like pulling the strings and controlling them. But I don't know, maybe Evie's just trying to play sick, like evil mind game with Zoe. So she's there controlling them and that, But the family can't see her. Well, they did see her. That's the thing. Like when, because they picked they brought her into the house and like, oh, Zoe, get her fresh clean clothes and that. So they did actually see Evie, because they actually saved her from the shipwreck. And they said like, um, put her in Lucas's other spare room, because I'm guessing other guests took up different rooms, because they mentioned it, like Jack Baker mentioned it, like, oh, we got other guests and that to Zoe. So I'm guessing those are like all the other people from the shipwreck they saved, and they turn into the molded. Like all those people turn into the molded, I'm thinking. So that's how there's like so many moldeds at their like plantation and that, at their house and all that sort of stuff, because all these other people from the shipwreck. So I think overall it was a great DLC. This video's been going for ages, but I wanted to kind of give you like, kind of explain the story and that, because I really like this story of Resident Evil, and I really want to do a good lengthy review on it, talk about it. But I'm really happy with this DLC. A lot of DLCs are normally a bit shit. I don't really like them, because they don't really give you much, and it doesn't really add anything to the games. But I like this. It was really good. You get a cool gameplay with Margaret Baker, then you get a really cool one with Lucas. That was awesome. 21. I really love that shit. Because I'm a fan of Saw. Like I watched that when I was like how young, like 10 or 11. Like I watched Saw at a really young age, and I loved it. And Saw always had those cool twist endings. I love Saw. So you got cool gameplay. The one I didn't really like was the mini games and Nightmare. I didn't really like those. But I'd say Daughters is awesome, 21's awesome, and Bedroom's great as well. But I'd say 21. But Daughters is the best. Second best is 21. Third best is Bedroom. Those are the three. If you're gonna get the DLC, you want to play those three. Those are great. But Daughters is the one if you want to get if you want to learn more about the main storyline and that, you got to play Daughters, because that's the prequel. So it tells you everything about what happened and that. Like it shows you night one when it happened. So you see the Bakers go from good to bad, and you'll see Evie rock up, and you'll see Mia as well. And Mia was saying in the letter, I just want to add this last thing before I end the review, that, oh, thanks to Baker family for saving me. So Mia doesn't just rock up here, they actually save her from the shipwreck with Evie. So, yeah, I just want to add that. I don't know if that will help you with anything, but I just want to cover all bases. But yeah, I hope I did a good job with this review. I don't think much people will see it, but I still want to review it. Anyway, thanks a lot, and have a nice night.